Thank you. Have a good day. Yeah, see what she just did there? See what she just did there? All right. As I'm getting off the bus, she raises her hands and opens her hands in front of me and has what? Change in her hands, right? You know what I'm saying? So I am so glad I'm able to record that because, like I said, I've been waiting. There's certain things that I don't get to record because they're very slick in terms of how they target me. But I'm so glad I'm able to show that, right? And then you'll see the American flag. When I talk about the use of the American flag, right? So when they do stuff like that, again, the coercive persuasion programming is the threat of what? Homelessness, financial destitute, but it's also about trying to change you, not in a good way. Because remember, these are behavioral change programs, right? And just because it's a behavioral change program, you tend to not think about the negative, look, license plate with the C and the check in the middle of the C. We tend to think of it as being positive, right? Because that's how they sold it to us, right? But it can use in a very destructive manner, and it can be very effective either way, right? Look, sees me, takes his phone out, right? So the coercive persuasion programming is not about helping people, right? It's about control over people, right? It's about the disintegration of a person's mind, their social status within the society, right? Within their family, within their relationships, right? That's what it's all about. But they're able to hide these things. And on top of that, they use it to try to discredit you, right? Particularly when governments, the United States government, have been engaging in non-consensual human experimentation, illegal microchipping of people, right? And they use fear as a tactic, right? Not understanding how we are being manipulated, how we have been weaponized against ourselves and each other. Okay? Again, when you look within the society, particularly in the black community, you see black people have no common sense. They have no common sense, they have no rational thinking, particularly black women. And the reason why I keep walking on black women is because they fail to understand, this white supremacist war against us. They fail to understand. And why is that? Because they can always turn to the state for help, right? They can always turn to the state to provide them an apartment, food, money for clothing, money for their children, instead of working together with their men to build businesses, to build strong families, to build a strong community. They're not about that. And the younger generations of black women and black men have been conditioned not to even think about those things, right? So when I talk about epigenetics and how they can create certain traits in your offspring, in people's offspring, just like how you do in animals, right? Like how they do it with dogs, right? You can breed two different kind of dogs, right, to produce whatever outcome of dogs that they want to produce. Right? So what do? They do it with us using religion. Religion has become so ingrained in us that it has become part of our DNA. Our ability to want to believe. Right? Not to say to believe in Christ, but our ability to want to believe instead of want to know. So we turn away from the truth. We turn away from anything that has to do with science, for the most part. That's most of us. Right? Even though we have some of the most brilliant-minded people on this planet, right? Some of the greatest thinkers, scientists, right? Doctors, physicists, right? But when that only makes up a single percentage of our entire population, and not to say that the numbers can be higher, but the fact is that most black people who are truly brilliant people will never see their brilliance come to light. Because those in power will pick and choose who they want to have within certain spaces within the society, particularly in Western society, right? You can't love yourself and love your people and be brilliant and expect to be promoted within the society. And it is promotion. It's not by luck, okay? It is not by luck. It is by you being chosen, right? So, for example, you have let's take people who can sing as an example. You have people who can truly sing, amazing voices, but they never get record deals. Why? Because the majority of them refuse to compromise their integrity. Okay? Only those that are willing to compromise their integrity will be promoted, because then they can be used and abused against themselves and their people, particularly if they're black. Right? Particularly if they're black. And again, this is why you see, particularly our music, particularly hip hop, particularly the disintegration of R&B music sung by black singers, where you have now white singers singing R&B music, and they have taken over that genre, right? And then the rap music now it's worse than ever, right? And I used to say, you know what? This is me. That's how I used to say to myself. I said, you know what? When we were younger, yeah, there was certain music that our parents didn't like, they didn't grow up on it, right? But at least when I was growing up, we had a balance. We had a balance of music, right? If you want to listen to some conscious music, you listen to some conscious music. If you want to listen to some what you call raunchy music, you can listen to some raunchy music. If you want to listen to some music that talks about, men loving women, women loving men, yeah, you can. They have those type of music, right? And then you had the pop music. You had the other form of music, right? But today, those things are such in a degraded state, particularly when we as black people are singing those things, we are rapping about it. You know what I'm saying? It is so degraded. And our women, the music of the hip hop artists that are black women, they have gotten so much worse. So much worse. They're degrading themselves and don't even know it.